All right, today we're diving into something really unique, the cultural system of a community called Lifechanyuan, or as they call it, the second home. And we're going to do this by looking only at the writings of its founder, Xu Feng. We're going to see the blueprint he laid out for life, everything from their core beliefs to some pretty wild social rules. So we're kicking things off with this quote because honestly, it tells you everything you need to know. Faith here isn't just a part of their culture, no, it's the source code. It's the operating system for the entire community. And as you'll see, every single rule, every relationship, it all flows directly from this one idea. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the foundational beliefs, the three great faiths. Then we'll look at the kind of mindset you'd need to have to be a member. After that, we dive into their really different social contract, their philosophy for daily life, and we'll wrap up with the one big principle that ties it all together. All right, let's get into it. First up, the three great faiths. And listen, this isn't just some casual list of beliefs. This is the absolute bedrock of their culture. Everything else we're going to talk about, it's all built right on top of this very specific hierarchy. So this term, great faith, is absolutely crucial to understanding any of this. It's defined as complete belief and trust, without any suspicion. And that's the key part, right? You're expected to trust not only the things that make sense to you, but also the things the things you don't understand. It's a call for total, unquestioning acceptance from the get-go. And this faith, it's not just some vague idea. It's channeled into a very specific three-level structure. Okay, so at the very top, you've got the greatest creator. Then on the second level, you have the sages. And this is a really interesting mix, right? You have figures like Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, Muhammad, and also Mao Zedong. And then on that third level, and this is presented as absolutely essential to making it all work, you have the guide, Xu Feng himself. This is the spiritual chain of command, and every member has to buy into it completely. Wow. Okay, this quote really spells out the guide's role, doesn't it? He's not just some teacher interpreting faith. No, he's positioned as the only person who can practically lead people out of their suffering and into this heavenly kingdom. So his role isn't just important, it's framed as completely and totally indispensable. Okay, so you have this really specific belief system. The natural next question is, what kind of person are they looking for? What kind of mindset do you need to have? That brings us to our next section, character and conduct in the second home. The number one thing, the most critical part of the mindset, is gratitude. It makes sense, right? The thinking goes like this. The home provides everything for you. Food, shelter, friends, a purpose. So gratitude isn't just a nice to have, it's seen as the only logical response. If you're not grateful, it's seen as a major character flaw. And to build that grateful mindset, members have to actively get rid of what they call the 6 evils: greed, corruption, laziness, extravagance, selfishness, and waste. And they don't mince words about these. They're called the arch enemies of civilization, a cancer on the body. So getting rid of these traits is a huge part of being a member. Okay, this next part is really fascinating. As a way to keep the culture on track, there's this rule of complete and total honesty. I'm talking absolute frankness. Everyone is expected to sort out their problems in public meetings, and that means openly criticizing anyone. And the texts make a point of saying this includes the guide, Xu Feng himself. The stated reason is to prevent a dictatorship and keep everything transparent. All right, now we're getting into what might be the most radical part of the second home's structure, their new social contract. This is where we see a total redefinition of things like family, who you rely on, and even love. And here's the core idea. They want to completely dismantle all traditional dependencies. Think about it. That reliance you might have on your parents, your partner, your best friends, all of that has to go. It gets replaced by one single thing: total reliance on the community, on the home. This chart just lays it out so clearly. In the outside world, we rely on family and friends. In the second home, you rely only on the home. We have marriage and the husband-wife bond. They have no marriage, no families. We have jealousy and possession in love. They have emotional and sexual freedom. We have private property. They believe nothing is owned, but everything is shared. It is a complete flip of how most of us live. And look, they're not subtle about it. The text says it right here. There is no family, no marriage, and husband-wife relationship. Instead, you're free to have unlimited emotional and sexual partners. And according to them, this freedom, this lack of jealousy and possession, that's a key ingredient for the beautiful life they're trying to build. Okay, so that's the big social theory. But how does this all actually work day to day? That brings us to the way of nature, which is basically the philosophy for daily life, covering everything from how you worship to how you work. So following the way of nature is really all about simplifying life radically. There are no churches or temples because nature itself is the place of worship. Forget about man-made holidays unless they're tied to nature. No fortune-telling, no magic, no superstition. You don't need special skills or complicated rules. The whole idea is to just live by natural rhythms. You eat when you're hungry, you sleep when you're tired. Simple as that. Okay, we're at our last section. What's the one big idea that ties all of this together? The glue that holds the whole system in place. They call it the one root principle. It's the ultimate unifying rule. And here it is, plain and simple. The one root principle demands absolute, singular loyalty in 3 areas. 1, you worship only one master, the greatest creator. 2, you obey only one government, which they see as a future global government. And 3, you follow only one guide, Sufeng. And the texts are crystal clear on this. If you stray from any of these, you're just not considered a Chanyuan celestial anymore. That's their name for a real member. And we're going to close out the explanation with this, well, it's a pretty stark warning from the text. It says that if someone comes along and tells you that Shu Feng has limitations, that person is the mouthpiece for demons. Wow. I mean, that really says it all, doesn't it? It just hammers home the absolute, unchallengeable authority at the heart of this entire system. So there you have it. We've walked through this entire system, from the core beliefs to the radical social rules, all based on the founder's own writings. And it leaves us with this one big question to chew on. Is what we've seen a blueprint for some kind of perfect utopia? Or is it a manual for total control? What do you think?